Welcome to Living Inside Our podcast, and today I have my dear friend Titi. She's my guest today. You know all about Titi because I've talked about her multiple times on the podcast. She was hiding, but finally she's here. Welcome, Titi.
Hi. So you know what? This is amazing. I can't believe that I'm finally on the podcast.
Finally, she's on the podcast.
Episode.
I'm not even sure. We're now at 105.
Wow.
105. And I have to say, before I read Titi's professional bio, that Living Inside Our podcast would be existing only in my mind today if it wasn't for her. Because when I first wanted to start the podcast, I knew I wanted to because I had all of this information in my head, and Jason complains that I talk too much, and it would be nice to share the talking with the world and give him some peace.
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted to start a podcast. I could see it, I knew it, I had the content, but I just wouldn't do it. So I was speaking to you one day and I said, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. And you said that to me last week. I didn't even realize I had told you
And
that
the week before that,
Oh, and then the next question was, why haven't you started? And I couldn't really give an answer. In fact, when you said, why haven't you started? I started listing all the things I've done. I said, I've got the music, and I've got the name, and I've got the artwork. And you said, so why haven't you started? I didn't have an answer. And then Titi said, how about you? We speak again next Saturday. So that's exactly 7 days. And you can tell me you started the podcast.
Yes.
That was one of the most powerful shifts in my life, has got to be that moment.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what
happens.
So thank you.
Next Saturday, you had your first episode. That's crazy.
Honestly, and now we're 105.
That's crazy. I remember when you got to 100. I thought, oh my goodness, how long has the podcast been going on for?
I know.
It's amazing.
And you know what's funny as well is that I didn't think, one of the reasons I was holding back was I didn't think I'll be consistent in it. Because I look back on my life and I felt I had a trail of unfinished business. I get excited at the start of things, and then halfway through I lose momentum and I just push it aside and find the next shiny thing. And I was so scared that I was going to do this to the podcast. That was one of the reasons. So thank you.
You've been consistent, amazing. I love it. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So before I even continue, I'm going to read Titi's professional bio, which is as long as they come, but I'm going to shorten it because she's lived a life and she's a mom of twins as well.
So I read that this morning and I thought, I was really enjoying it. I don't normally like writing bios.
No, it's great. So Titi Omo-Adesanya is a tech professional with a passion for entrepreneurship. After pursuing a degree in computer science, Titi discovered her love for technology and its impact on people's lives. She has worked across private and public sectors as a product owner, helping businesses grow with stunning websites and digital solutions. We are here to hear Titi's story today and really just to get to see us together because, like I said, Titi and I chat all the time, and so I feel honored that you're actually here. I thought I was going to have to drag you.
You have dragged me.
Yay. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. What were you like as a child?
What was I like as a child? Okay, so that's so hard to answer. So I think I was a really good child. I behaved myself a lot.
You're the firstborn, isn't it?
I'm the firstborn for my mum.
Okay.
Second for my dad.
Okay.
And when I ask my mum now, she'll say to me, "Oh, you were really good." And I'm like, "Okay, I was really good." I still got beaten though.
Well, African parents, you have to. Even when you're good, they're like, "Come, I want to give you something to cry about because this is your goodness. I don't believe it."
Exactly. Yeah. So I kind of remember a lot from the age of 7, but leading up to the age of 7, it was all a bit confusing, and I think that's because I'm one of those kids that spent time outside London with a nanny. Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore, thank goodness. But yes, I spent time, and I don't know up to what age. I'll say maybe up to the age of 5.
Do you remember?
So I do remember the second family we lived in
Really?
slightly. I remember being there. I remember there being other children,
Okay.
but I don't remember a lot. I remember her name, but that's because Mum mentions her a lot.
Oh, right.
So I think if no one spoke about it, I wouldn't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, so that happened. And also there was a family before the last family that we stayed with, but I've been told they didn't treat us very well.
Whoa.
So I don't remember that at all.
Really?
But in my head, I've got,
Yes,
okay, we were there and I don't know what
yeah.
happened. Yeah. So it's a bit, my childhood was a little bit confusing. Then I remember being in London and going to 2 different primary schools
Okay.
before the age of 7.
Okay.
So I was sitting down the other day thinking, okay, I need to write out what I think my childhood was like, because I can't really remember properly. Yeah.
But then, did you move to Nigeria?
Yeah, that
Okay.
I remember.
You remember
Yeah.
when I said, what was
So I
that
moved
like?
to Nigeria when I was 7, loved it. So I moved to Nigeria when I was 7, and I remember arriving. I remember we left the airport and we saw a dead body. Yes, I can never forget
That was
that.
a welcome.
Yeah, and I thought, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yes, and my dad had gone before us,
Okay.
and I was just so excited to see him.
Oh.
So yeah, I remember. So I went to 2 primary schools again in Nigeria. This is why it's all very confusing. Went to 2 primary schools and then went to secondary school for 2 years and then came back. But I loved Nigeria. I loved everything about being in Nigeria. Yeah, it was just amazing being with all your cousins,
Right.
getting to know your grandparents. Yeah, and yeah,
The
I don't
culture,
know. The
the
culture,
food, the
absolutely loved it.
people.
Even going back to the village.
Oh, wow.
And having to sleep with all your cousins.
Yes,
And you're all
yes,
sharing
yes.
food.
Oh,
yeah,
my
all those
goodness.
things I absolutely loved, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's
So-
really special. Those of us who had the privilege of growing up in Nigeria or even in Africa as a whole, it's very special, and it gives us this breadth of experience that increases our capacity for more. You know, it affects our personality, how we grow up, our expectations of life. I think that people like us don't easily fit into the cookie cutter mindset because we've just seen and experienced too much.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I remember saying to one of the twins one day that us Nigerians, especially us that grew up in Nigeria, when we have this ability to take something small and create something big out of it.
So true.
So a good example is one day my dog created this hole in the garden fence, and somehow I looked around the garden and managed to fill up the hole. And I'm like, the only reason why I looked around and thought, what can I use to seal this hole so he can't get out, was because I lived in Nigeria.
Wow.
And I
Because
thought,
otherwise, you would have been like, I need to call the fence fixer.
to come and take down the hole, and sort it out.
Exactly. Or I
Yeah.
need to go to B&Q and buy a panel. So even when people do DIY, everything is already cut and dry for them. So it's
exactly.
like, you're, oh wow,
Exactly.
that's
So,
interesting. I've never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah, food.
I always say we're the most dynamic people on earth.
We are. And then when I came back at the age of 12, I absolutely hated it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, this country's so different.
Oh.
Cold and the people are a bit weird.
Yeah. The warmth
So,
of Nigeria,
yeah.
the physical warmth and the emotional warmth and connection was gone.
It was so different. It was so different. I just couldn't believe how different. But then after a while, you get used to it. Yeah, but it was just so different. Like just walking down, because in Nigeria, you walk down the street and everyone knows you.
Yeah.
They know
And
your
even if
mum,
they don't
your
know you,
dad.
they smile at you. Like they say hi.
Exactly. So yes. So that was my childhood. So then we came back. And I went to secondary school. Finally started feeling like, okay, now I'm back in London. I understand the culture a bit better. And then it just went from there. So went to secondary school, went to college, did the normal, went to uni, did all the normal stuff.
Oh. And then you ended up with twins. You got married. You had twins.
Right. Yes. So I got married and then got twin boys.
Well, you always say that you knew you were gonna have twins, isn't it? How
Yeah.
come?
So what happened? So when I was younger, when you have this feeling that you're gonna have twins, but I thought, everyone wants twins because everyone says it, right? I want twins.
I would have loved twins.
So then, when I got pregnant, before I got pregnant, I had this dream, and in the dream I had twin boys. But in the dream, I was actually in hospital with twin girls, and the only reason why I knew I had twin boys was because the nurse came to me in the dream. I can never forget this dream, and said to me, "Oh, are these your first kids?" And I said, "No, I've got twin boys at home." So I thought, "Oh no, I'm gonna have two sets of twins." So then, when I got pregnant, I said to God, I don't want twins because I can't cope with 2 babies.
Oh.
And then as we got closer and closer to the scan date, I went back and said, God, please
Really?
make sure both babies are okay because I do want the twins now.
Yeah.
So anyways, we went in
So
there.
but that's obviously when you went to the scan, you still didn't know.
No, I didn't know. No, I had no idea. And I remember I went with my sister.
So wait, were you praying a prayer for God to make both babies okay, but you didn't know that you had? I mean, you knew
I had
because
the
of your.
feeling.
It was just a feeling.
It was a feeling, and also it was based on the dream. So based on the dream, I said to myself, "You're expecting twin boys."
Wow.
Based on the dream.
I need to move in with you. Start telling me all my tell me my future, please.
Based on that dream. So then
Really?
we went in, I remember I went with my sister, we went into the room, I'd laid down, the woman put all the gel on, and then she says to me, "What can you see?" And I went, "Nothing," because I couldn't see anything from that outside. And then she said, "Well, you're expecting twins." Totes, I started laughing and crying at the same time. I was literally crying, and I was crying,
laughing.
and I was laughing, and my sister was like, "What?" And that's how that's how I found out.
Wow.
And then I started telling people, and because I have a cousin who has twin girls, people didn't believe me. They were like, "No,
Yeah, you just
it's not
saying it
possible."
because-
because I was quite close with her, and I used to look after her twins. They were like, "No, it's not possible."
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
You were born for this.
yeah. But they're big boys now.
So work-wise, how did you get into the tech space?
So the tech space, how did I get in there? So thought I was going to be an accountant because my dad's an accountant or was an accountant. And then I went to uni to apply to do business studies.
Okay.
And the course was full up because everyone was doing business studies. And then I remember the person I was speaking to said, "Oh, but you can do computer science." And I thought, how am I going to do computer science? Like, the word science freaked me out because I don't like science at all. Like physics, chemistry, biology, leave me out of it. So I thought, science, no. So I thought, okay, there's no other degree. I can't get onto the degree that I want to do. So let me just try it. And I'm going to definitely swap after 1 year. So I enrolled, started, and the very first coursework we did, I got an A. And I thought, oh.
Surprise.
Maybe I'm not that
good
bad.
at this.
Yeah, maybe I'm good. And I remember, I think it was we had to do something based on Bill Gates. And I didn't know who Bill Gates was. I had to go and do some research. So I thought, oh, okay, this is not too bad. And just kept going. Anyway, that's how I fell in love with tech. So I'm not an engineer, can't code, can't stand coding to be honest. But anything else, I'm like, yeah, I'm there. And also, I followed a pathway where you're kind of mixing technology with business.
All right.
And I thought, yeah, this is for me. And that's how I ended up in tech. So as soon as I graduated, I got a job straight away.
Okay. And you worked with BBC for a while?
No, my first job was with a company called Crown Agents.
Oh, okay.
It's a government organisation.
Okay.
And they took me on as a junior programmer analyst or analyst programmer.
You didn't like it?
Oh, God, I hated it. The coding bit is what I didn't like.
Yeah, you didn't like
Yeah,
that.
no, not at all.
Oh.
So I remember I used to sit there thinking, what am I going to do? I don't like coding. And then I discovered actually you could be an analyst and not be a developer.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So I kept on trying to pursue that. And that's how I became a business analyst. And then I went on to become a product owner.
Okay. And that's what you do now?
And that's what I do now.
That's part of what you do now?
That's part of what I do
Because you've
now.
also got, you've got 7 Little Steps.
Yeah.
So tell us about 7 Little Steps.
So 7 Little Steps is the company that I use to do my product ownership. But I also help people build websites and apps if they need an app, or just help them with their digital stuff. So if you've got a company and you're not very tech savvy, we can help you. Like I can show you how to use different communication tools like Slack, different productivity tools like Trello and so on and so forth. We can help you, we build amazing websites.
You have to go to the Baby Cut, I'm sure, hopefully it's showing up on the screen right now. The babycutshop.com. Our website was built by Titi. Honestly, we're still getting compliments.
I'm so happy.
Not only do we get compliments, I love going on there.
And just looking at it.
And just looking at it. I love accidentally going on there.
Even I love it. Even I go and have a look.
Honestly, and we get a lot now. We get so many people pitching to us for different things. So yes, the interior design and the baby furniture and so on, but just I think that people I got approached by a company today, which I'll tell you about later. In fact, this week alone, we've had in the last 2-3 weeks, we've had 3 very high level companies come to us, and I know that the website has given them confidence in who we are.
I love that website, I can't lie.
It's amazing.
Like every time I look at it, I'm like, and I always tell people, just go and have a look at it.
Yeah, that's the 7 Little Steps flagship project. Flagship in the sense that it's like the, what's the word? Not your first project, but it's like your showstopper.
Yeah, it is a showstopper for us. And also, but we have to admit though, the items that you sell in the business really does make that website stand out. You have to admit, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, so that's what we do. And then I do help, like I have a lot of people that would say I've got a great idea, but I'm not sure how to start.
Right.
So I do have like sessions with people just to encourage them and to help them just like put their thoughts down.
I think you're downplaying really that part of it. Yeah, because it's funny that until you talked about the part about productivity, like Trello and Slack and everything, I guess because of our friendship, I didn't really see that as part of your business. I just thought she's just really good at this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, it is her business. That's why she's so good at it.
Yeah. It's
okay.
just
But then helping people with their ideas. So it's a lot more than I just help. She doesn't just help. She takes your little figment of an idea and helps you to develop it so that you can manifest it as a real tangible business or product. That's what she does.
Yeah, well, when you put it like that, I guess that's what we do. But I do love it though. Like, I love hearing people's ideas. I do. I could sit there forever just listening, and then in my head I start visualizing what that could turn into, and I just enjoy that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, just start.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm always fascinated with, some people never start. No matter how much you say to them, you could just go out there and try it. They don't. No, they don't.
That's a very scary thought.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that don't. But there are people that will just go out there and try it. And then they can decide, okay, is this for me or is this not for me? And recently I've discovered it's not necessarily a business. It could be a hobby and you're getting paid. A business is something completely different.
Okay.
And that's something that I'm learning
What's
now.
the difference?
Yeah. I think the difference is if you're running a business, you should be able to step away and the business is still running.
I love that. That's true. So the business runs on systems.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And a hobby is just like, it doesn't matter, if I show up, fine. If I don't, fine.
Yeah. And I've only really learned that recently. So I used to think, I've got all these great business ideas. Then I realised they're not all business ideas. Yeah.
But they could become business.
They could become business ideas.
Okay, but at that point, you're not thinking of it as a business.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you've got to start somewhere, right?
True,
so you've got to get an
true.
idea and try it out. Yeah, and then see how you turn it into one. I'm even trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. What's a day in your life like?
A day in my life.
I know no 2 days are the same.
No, but it's a bit weird right now because I've got time off.
Yeah. Okay.
So normally my day starts. I wake up at say about 6. I say actually from 5:30 my eyes open, which is very very annoying because I want to sleep for a lot longer. But I just open my eyes.
Yeah.
And sometimes bad habit. I go onto Instagram. Very very bad habit.
Instagram situation.
But I've stopped doing that.
Well
thank
done.
goodness. So now I try to actually so my friend told me a few months ago that on the Bible app she'll literally just listen to it rather than read it. So I've started doing that. Okay. So I just listen to the chapter. So good. And then if I didn't hear something, I just go back a verse. It allows you to go back a verse.
Yeah.
So I started doing that now. So I listen to a chapter and then I pray, not for too long. And then normally when I'm working on a project, I'll get up, have a shower, get ready for work as if I'm going into the office. Even though I'm working from home.
Okay.
And then join my first call.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I work and then about 12 o'clock I stop, have lunch. I should be going out for a walk. Don't necessarily do it every single day. And then for the rest of the afternoon, I'm probably on calls or doing some work. And then in the evening time, I've been working on some side project that I have going on.
Wow.
And there are numerous side projects
Wow.
until about 9 o'clock. And then, yeah, that's the day.
That's amazing. What I love about our relationship is that you and I we talk on multiple topics, but we're very much on the same plane. Like we really get and understand whether we're talking about the Bible or Revelations or we are talking about business. That one can go on forever. You know, I think of you often. The other day, where did we go? It's really bad. I said, I have to tell Titi this, but I can't tell her now because Jason's in the car with me. Twice it happened. Went for a wedding. I took my laptop.
Why?
Just in case, for some reason, we end up on, because it was quite far. We need to go on the motorway. As a matter of fact, if I'm going on the motorway, I take my laptop because if anything happens, I have a blowout, the tire goes off the car while I'm waiting for AA.
So tell me something. I've got a question for you. How many times have you actually brought out your laptop when you take it for events like that? So you've gone to a wedding. Yeah. Did you actually get your laptop out at any point?
In this case, I didn't because Jason was there and he would probably have freaked out at me. And I didn't have the opportunity to, but multiple times I have. And I'll tell you what kind of, if I'm on my own, that laptop's going to come out. And I'll tell you a perfect scenario. I'm driving and I see, like I recently, my friend Tawana in Canada, every time I'm on the phone with her, almost every time, the word Tim Horton comes out of her mouth. It's either she's driving through to get coffee or she says, I was there the other day. And I always wondered what it was until I saw it by Lakeside the other day. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Tim Hortons. They've come to the UK. So I go there and I buy some chicken nuggets. I didn't even know they sold food like that. I thought it was like a Starbucks. The chicken nuggets were to die for. So now, when I'm going, if I'm visiting clients or suppliers or whatever, I look see if there's a Tim Hortons nearby, and it's usually out of way somewhere. So not only do I drive in there to grab their nuggets, I then put my sit all the way back and bring out my laptop.
To eat as you do something your laptop at the same time.
And there, or sometimes I pull over by the side of the road on the hard shoulder. Maybe if we're dealing with a major project, or I have a VIP, or well, all our customers are VIPs. I like to say it, so I have a client that I need to answer urgently. One area that I'm having to work on is on letting go, because clearly those are control issues. Because I confess, control issues where I have staff that can deal with things, but I want to deal with them. And for me, it's the speed of doing things. You know, like what was it this morning or yesterday? One of the staff said to me, asked me some questions. I was out and she's like, oh, this client wants this, da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay. And she wants it urgently. I'm like, okay, yeah, let her know that it can be done, you know, and you know. And then maybe about 10 minutes later, I look in the business WhatsApp and the message hadn't gone out. And I'm like,
so you're thinking, if I did this,
yeah, exactly,
I'll
be done by now. And I'm like, it's not that hard. And I really wanted to do it, you know. And there's been times I've jumped into conversations when, you know, that belong to other people, because I'm like, you're not answering quickly enough. You're not being fast.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we have that discussion quite a lot, don't we? About I just feel naked without my laptop, to be honest. I feel like today I was tempted to bring it. And I thought, no, leave it at home. You don't need it. Yeah, I left it at home. But I was tempted.
I haven't even brought it.
Because I thought, what if I've got time? You know, I could just jump on. But then I remember about Wi-Fi and all that stuff. Anyway, I didn't bring it today. But like you, I like to take my laptop everywhere. And recently I've been thinking of going on holiday.
Don't tell me you want to go without your laptop.
Well, that was the big dilemma. I'm like, you really do need a break, but I can't go without my laptop. It's not possible.
I'll tell you what will happen to me if I try that. I would walk into the nearest Apple store and buy another one.
Would you?
I likely would. If I went as far as going on holiday without my laptop, even though it was on purpose.
Do you have an iPad? You know your iPad can do everything, right?
I know.
So just look, my cheat sheet is to just take
the iPad
because I can do all the same things.
I know. There's something about that keyboard.
Oh my goodness, I know what you mean. It makes me feel like I'm doing. But you know something, you know what I realise though? Sometimes I'm on my laptop, I'm not really doing anything productive. I'm literally, especially in the evenings.
Okay.
I'm sitting
'Cause you're
there, and everyone
tired.
probably thinks, yeah, oh yeah, you know. Sometimes the boys will come in and say, "Mum, you're still awake." I'm not.
Yeah.
I like the fact I'm sitting
Yeah,
there in front of it, looking
yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
But I'm not really doing anything productive, so I'm trying to stop that.
Stop that, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
Mm.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, it's hard. But you know, that's the thing is when you enjoy what you do and you're passionate about entrepreneurship as well, you know, like I am too. So I think that's part of the reason why.
I think my thing right now is Canva. I'm obsessed with going on there and just creating different content
Oh, really?
for different different Instagram pages.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a creative person, and I think in the past I always thought I wasn't. So I just love going on there,
yeah,
being able to create something, looking at it, thinking, yeah, this looks great.
This is good. Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm posting
though.
it somewhere.
That's nice. Let's talk about AI.
Oh yes. I think you're more into it than I am though, because I think you use ChatGPT more than I do.
Has yours yet told you memory full yet?
No, it hasn't. How?
I didn't know it was a thing, and I'm on the premium.
Memory full? How?
Yep. I think a point comes when it has so much information about you that it can't save anymore, and it literally told me memory full. I can use it. My understanding of if you're watching and you know what this means, please let me know. My understanding of memory full is that it's been collating everything about me and saving it, and it can no longer save anymore.
So tell me, like, do you delete all your previous chats, or some of them at least?
When it came up with the thing, I started deleting, but it hasn't made a difference.
It's still saying memory. Maybe you need to adjust
I
some in your settings.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I haven't come across that problem yet. But you know what I did? I went in, I had so many chats about so many different things that I started questioning, what is it that you're researching? So many random things. I think I was just testing it out. So I've gone in now and I've literally just deleted. Yeah, I deleted everything. I said,
but
I'm
anything related to, oh really?
The only thing I kept were things related to 7 Little Steps.
Oh, right, okay.
And Kids Cyber Safe.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
those two things.
Okay.
But anything else, I've just
you've
deleted. Because I would just think of the most random thing.
Yeah,
I can't even think of an example. And I'd go and research it. Or I'll hear somebody say something.
And then
I'll say, oh, let me test out that prompt.
Oh, right, okay.
See what it does. And then I was learning how to create, not a perfect prompt, but I was trying to learn what is it that I need to tell ChatGPT to get the detail that I need.
That you need, yeah.
Because sometimes you'll ask ChatGPT to do something and it just gives you an outline. And you're like, no, I want detail.
Yeah.
So I think I was trying to learn that.
To learn
I had too many.
You know what you can do? What you can do is say to it that with everything you know about me, because presumably when you're using it like for business, you are entering in like tone of voice. So I'll give an example. Okay, so you're doing tone of voice. This is how I want to sound, or my how I want to speak to my customers. You're doing there's a whole lot of things. So I have all of these. You know, maybe speak to this customer or write an email about this. This is the tone you need to be in, or whatever it is. So I say, take everything you know about me and write a prompt so that every social media post or blog post or what have you comes with these with particular elements in it. And it did. So we have a master prompt now that's been developed over time, and that's what you need to do.
What do you mean by master prompts?
So we have one prompt now. Before I ask it to do anything, I put that prompt in and then I ask the question.
Oh, okay. I'm ahead of a master prompt.
So no, I just came up with it.
Oh.
I call it a master prompt because we've done so many different prompts.
Oh, I see.
But now we've got like a prompt that encapsulates everything.
Okay.
So
does it talk about your tone of voice?
Everything.
Right, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's an example? What's your?
So an example, I would have read it, but my competitors might be watching. So, but for example, I would say, write an email. My master, I can read part of it.
Just
actually.
one little example of what is in that master prompt.
Presuppositions. Did I talk to you? We had a conversation about
No, we
presuppositions.
haven't had
The
one.
presuppositions is one. An example of it would be the tone. Like I
Okay.
might say, write an email that is that you're speaking to affluent parents
I get what
who
you
are
mean. Okay.
so you're speaking to affluent parents who are emotional because it's their first baby,
Okay.
you know,
understand.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. So you're setting the context
I said
for whatever it is you want. Oh, okay.
and we just have that saved, and for every single prompt,
Mm.
every single thing we ask you to do, we put that in first.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So that way you're not having to break it down like
Every single
do
time.
it every single time.
Okay, but you know it saves. You know when it says memory updated, I think that's what it's
That's
saving.
what it's saving.
Yeah, it's saving your tone of voice. Whether you
Yes,
want
that's what I.
the output to be formal,
Yeah.
informal, engaging, so on and so forth, for that particular chat. So
So
I
now
don't.
mine is full,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
so it's not updated anymore.
Yours is full. Still,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I'm gonna Google that when I get home.
Yeah, please let me know. Explain it to me when you do.
I love these sort of complex things.
Honestly, yeah. But
That's
I find it
interesting.
really. I'll tell you some of the things that I've used it for. Is I'm a creative. I'm also a geek because I love science and I
Yeah,
love
you
tech.
do.
But I'm a creative, and the creative side of me means that I'm not terribly organized, terribly well organized. You know, anyway. I'm not very well organized, and I get ideas like literally. My brain is constantly firing out ideas. So, for example, with the business, after we had the website, the next thing I needed to do was tighten our systems, have very strong, rigid systems that would help, like you said, the business runs without me.
Yeah.
And I know that in the past I've overhired people, you know, like
Yeah.
at one time we had like 6 people working for our tiny little company, and the output was not commensurate with the number of people working. Which means that I'm not particularly great at hiring either, because I didn't know what I was looking for. And I was just like, oh, you're really, yeah, that's what I
You're
think.
great at hiring.
I'm better now, but back then I wasn't. I was very emotional. Oh, she's really cute. Really nice.
You know, you've never said to me I hired someone because she's really cute.
Not that she's not that's me being flippant. I'm kind of kidding, but I think that my priorities were misplaced. And I think the experience of losing everything was so traumatic for me that it affected how I do many things. I didn't know that until recently. I've sort of, it comes and goes. I'm like, is it not? I don't know. So when it came to hiring back then, I remember when I hired my first manager at the store 7 years ago, when we first opened on the King's Road. My priority was that she was excellent in conversing with customers. I wanted somebody who had luxury experience. I wanted somebody who had a great command of English. I'm very, particular about written and spoken English, but even spoken I'm good, because we all come from different parts of the world. But the written, my goodness, that's really important to me. And then also it's representative of our brand. So I wanted someone who spoke and wrote very well, someone who had luxury experience. And when she walked in, she had none of these things. And I had been advertising and so on. She walked in, she had none of these things, but instantly I knew that was her. So my intuition helped. When I started speaking to her, I had some reservations. I was like, oh God, she doesn't really speak good English. She's not great at this and that and the other. And I really felt like God was like, you can tell, Tokes, this is her. And she really was the person. Amazing human being. I still have a relationship with her today. And then I have hired somebody because I didn't think that I was worthy of having someone better.
You've told me that before.
Yeah.
I must admit, at the time I didn't understand it. I think I get it
Did you
now.
get it now?
Yeah.
Because And even when they remained with the company, and it was clear they were not good for us, it was clear that they were not, in their particular role, which was one of the most important roles, there was they weren't productive, we were not, our revenue wasn't growing. And I knew they didn't, but I kept on forcing her into the role, like, you can do this, kind of thing. She can do it. And I knew she wasn't right, but I thought I'll make her right. But really what the problem was, I didn't think I was worthy of someone better than her.
So I know you're the host.
Yeah.
And I'm the guest.
No, we're co-hosting today.
But let's explore that. Why did you feel like you weren't worthy?
I don't know. I think that maybe some insecurity. Maybe there were insecurities there. You see that worthiness thing? It was the second time that was showing up for me that made me realize that we need to explore this, madam. The first time was an electrician. The landlord had sent an electrician in to come and do the testings, and I needed more sockets. So this guy comes in, really nice, friendly guy. I've actually got him saved as I have to say his name. I'll find him. But I have him saved as a thief. I don't know how you save people, but I have scammer, thief. You don't do that. You don't do that. Do you guys do that? Oh, I do.
No.
Yeah, I have Ben the scammer. I have Raj the thief, who stole my chest of drawers and money.
Oh yeah, remember
Raj?
him.
Yeah. Yeah, I have multiple people. And the reason I save them is so that if I don't save them, they may call me one day and I wouldn't know it's them.
But you block them?
No. I have to keep an eye on my enemies.
So I just block people, but you save them.
I can see how your way makes more sense.
So anyway, okay. So the
guy comes in, the electrician comes in, and I say, hey, so I need extra sockets. Can you do more sockets? And he goes, yeah, sure. And I say, how much is it? And he gives me a price. It was like £270 or something, which was a lot less than I thought it was going to cost me. So I'm like, yeah, fine. He said, but can you pay a deposit? And I said, yeah, sure. So he gives me his bank details. I transfer maybe £50 to him. He said he'll do it, because he was working for this company full time. He'll do it after work, and he'll come back the next day. That he'll start the next day. I said, no problem. That same evening, he calls me again and says, I've come to Screwfix to pick up your materials, but I think you need the socket that allows you to charge your USB, your phones and things.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I say, a great idea. So I'm going to need more money. I'm like, okay. Can you transfer £60 to me? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I transfer £60 to him.
So now it's 110.
Now it's 110. Then the next day in the morning, so I said, what time he says he was going to come in the morning? So he comes, so in the morning, I call him to find out what time, because I'm like, you say it's after hours, so I need to be there like 8, we open at 10. Anyway, I don't hear back from him, so I call. Eventually, I was like, yeah, that he's coming. I want to say that he asked for another transfer. And I knew that I shouldn't be transferring money to this guy. But I sent him some more money. I just thought, because the way I looked at it was, I needed the thing done. I needed it done quickly. I also didn't have time to start making new decisions. I just needed it out of the way so I could focus on other. And I think I had maybe one member of staff at the time. I can't remember. So this guy, so later, about midday, another guy comes and says, his name is not Ben. Let's find his name so that I shame him on here. Electrician.
I can't believe I'm making you name and shame somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So some guy comes in and tells me, electrician. Yeah, thief, Chris, electrician. There he is. He's on. His name is Chris. Sadly, I don't have his surname, but I've got him down as thief, Chris, electrician. Anyway, so he says, Chris says I should bring this thing, and he brings like some cables and all the material. I'm okay. It's all right, but he says I should drop them here and he'll be back later. Say, fine. All day, nothing. I don't hear from him. I call him, nothing. Next day, I called him. He said he was really sorry that he was involved in an accident. I said, you see, I already knew, even as I was transferring all those bits of money, that I knew, my intuition was like, don't do this. But I was like, I was overriding it. And I kept saying, no, I need to get this done. So when he said he was in an accident, I knew he wasn't in an accident. So I called his company and I asked for him. And they say I think they said he's off sick today. I said, did he have an accident yesterday? They said, no. I said, can I speak with your boss, please? So I tell the boss the entire story. The guy is mortified. So he sends an email. I don't remember what the thing was, where he said, listen, you're going to get your money back. I'm going to dock it from his pay, blah, 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 blah. And I think he sends out an email. But anyway, it becomes this red alert in their company, their small company. And somebody must have contacted him to let him know. And the boss says, and the next thing the boss emails me that the guy just quit. Yeah.
But the thing that I understand is your unworthiness made you think what?
Yeah. So now I go back and I say, Tokes, you were scammed. I don't believe things happen to you unless you attract them. And I believe that I attracted the scamming situation. So now I needed to know what was in me that made it possible for him to scam me. And here's the thing, I work with high net worth individuals. I do top-notch luxury interior design. I have hired builders and electricians and plumbers for my clients. I would never have got Chris to go to their home.
Oh,
never.
right.
I would not hire someone for my client who I haven't vetted, I haven't seen their registration, I haven't seen their insurance. I wouldn't send any, I make sure that I get the best of the best for my clients. So I said, why did I think I deserved less? And that's when I knew that, because I didn't think I was worthy.
That's deep. That is actually really deep.
So that became, and when you discover things about yourself, it then becomes a, what's the word now? It now stays on your radar, so that you start to recognize it from a distance. So there were other things that happened, and I'm like, unworthiness is showing up again.
That's so interesting. That's something that never occurred to me. So you would always get the best of best with clients.
Yeah.
But because you're in that line of business though, you were able to say, actually, I would do this for my clients, but I'm not doing this for me.
Yeah. But why did I think that I wasn't, why would I make that division, Why didn't I think I deserve the best?
So how did that, so when it comes to you employing staff, how did that show up?
That showed up because I interviewed somebody for a role that I could see she didn't tick all the boxes, but I felt maybe monetarily that was all I could afford.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. And it showed up even as an employer when my staff would do things that, they needed correcting, they needed training, they needed to be point corrected or moved in, and I wouldn't do it. As a matter of fact, I remember once having a rogue thought. So I call rogue thought a thought that sneaks into your mind that's a thief of your peace or your joy or your destiny or whatever. I remember one time I had a rogue thought that said I was lucky to have my staff.
Wow.
Yeah. So though I'm paying them, they were doing me a favor. Yeah, I know. But you see, these are things that are not immediately obvious.
Yeah.
It required me really being honest with myself and saying, why do you?
That's interesting. I'm trying to see if I've ever had those type of thoughts. That's really interesting. I think when I first got into tech, I probably did, actually, when I think about it now. And I think it was based on, I can't really pinpoint what it was. I don't know whether it's because it was always either just me, like being a woman, being black in the team.
Yeah.
It could be that. I think it probably was that actually. Or whether it was, maybe I thought, oh yeah, I accidentally fell into this space because that wasn't my initial plan.
Is that the same
That's
as
another
imposter
thing.
syndrome, though?
Probably. But I think everybody's got imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, this might be controversial.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a thing because most people I speak to have it.
They have it or they don't
They
have it?
do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, like you'd hardly meet anyone that doesn't say, oh, I've got imposter syndrome. So maybe it's just a
Or
natural
is it
thing
possible,
people
though,
feel.
that some of us are just putting labels on things because those labels are sexy?
Maybe. Because have you ever met anyone that hasn't said, I've got imposter syndrome? Most people I speak to have got it.
Guys,
Even
I'm thinking
guys,
of a
even guys.
particular friend of mine who is super duper confident, almost to the point of being arrogant. And I don't know that he has imposter syndrome. Maybe he wouldn't admit. Maybe he doesn't.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But if you got a high level, okay, so say he's doing a job today and you got a high level job, say he's a senior manager and you got a job as a director, would he have imposter syndrome when he starts? Or, you know, maybe he calls it something else, I don't know. It'd be good to talk something like that. But most people I speak to, they do have it.
I feel like there's a scale, an imaginary scale we're using to measure our value. And I think that for you to have imposter syndrome, then you've got that scale. Then the question now comes with, where did the scale come from? Because I'm thinking about him now. What would he look like? I mean, he's in a very senior position, but what would he look like if he was now asked to take over, you know, like Apple or something?
Exactly. That's something he's never done before.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, I think that's fair.
Sort of, yeah. So at first, I think I definitely felt like I just accidentally fell into that career, and then after a while, I don't know when that turning point came, I just started embracing. You know what it was? I think one day I decided I can learn anything, apart from coding, so I can't. But I can learn anything, and from that point onwards, I just thought it doesn't really matter.
Wow.
I can find myself in an uncomfortable situation. I just need to learn.
Yeah.
And
That's
as
one
long as
thing I
can
really
learn.
admire about you. It's like you recognize what a challenge is, but you don't run from it. You know, and you don't explain it away either. Like you always admit that this is tough. I don't know if I can do this, but you know you can learn.
Yeah, 100%. That's the best way to get through life, as far as I'm concerned, because we're always learning, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we
Always
are.
learning. Like with AI, at first I was like, you know, what's going to happen? Is it going to take our jobs? What's going on? Then I decided I was going to tell you, Canva. I don't know if you know, but they have this beta version where you get Canva AI. Do you know about that?
Okay, I've seen some things.
And you can join the program, but you have to sign an agreement.
Oh really? I think I've done it, you know.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I have.
Okay, we should
Yeah,
talk
because I
about
remember.
it later.
Yeah.
Because I've started using it. It's not great yet, but I think it's
Yeah.
going to get better. So literally,
feel
you
like
just
I have.
write the prompt to say, this is what I want.
Yes.
Oh, you have joined, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. But I'm trying to explore like different
tools.
Yeah, to try and understand what the tools can do.
Right.
I'm trying to imagine a possibility. I'm also trying to listen to different podcasts about people that have more knowledge about AI and where it's going and what they think is going to happen in 5 years' time. So
that's really cool. I heard there's a guy I was listening to on Stephen Bartlett's Diary of the CEO, and did you listen to that episode? And he was saying, he talked about the negative things about it, that it's eventually going to get smarter than us. But you know, as I was driving in today, or in the Uber today, I was thinking about that statement, and I thought, I was having a conversation with the Uber driver, and we were talking about religion. And I was trying to explain to him, because he was describing God, and I was trying to explain to him that our minds are too limited to ever be able to describe who God is. And even if he were to show his whole self to us, we can't grasp it, you know. And I was saying that God does not, and he was saying about how big the universe is and everything, and I said that the universe still has walls. It's contained within something, and God is not inside the thing, because he made the universe. He's outside of it. But it started a train of thoughts that because God is limitless and we are connected to him, it also makes us limitless, you know? And I stepped back to admire our capacity to learn when I was I see that my use of ChatGPT is just going through the roof. Like it's really helping me, you know? Like I think of, I'll give an example. I had this whole long, and I do this now regularly, I even did it yesterday. I had a long list of things I needed doing. Some of it was for marketing. I've got 2 marketing interns at the moment. And so what I just did was, okay, tell Chat that I have this person, that person, that person. Tell it what their personalities are, what their strengths are. This person is really good at that, but she's scared of using this. That person, and these are all the things. Who's going to do it? Tell me who needs to do it. And he just tells me.
You use ChatGPT for that? Oh my goodness. And it tells you who should do it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the first time I did, because I felt like we were enough hands in the business and still our output was small.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay. And I knew that some people were not doing enough, but it's not because they were lazy. It's because I didn't give them enough to do. So yes, they have their job specs and everything, but in this evolving and ever-changing world, the job specs you had when you came in has since changed. The requirements of the business has changed. And we're a small business as well, so it's not like we have departments, you know, anything like that. So I just said, I gave it a description of everyone in the team, and I said, these are the things this is the outcome I want. These are the things that we must do. We've got to post on social media every day. We've got to do this, we've got to do that. Who should do, tell me who should do the best things. And I gave it what their working hours were as well. Since XYZ is really good on the computer, she needs to build your CRM system. She needs to do this, and I just did exactly what it did.
So when did you do that? How long ago?
I did this quite a few months ago for the first time, but yesterday I did it again for yesterday's tasks because I had specific tasks that needed to be done, and I'm like, okay, I want these things done this week. So it breaks it down for me. It gives me all the steps. You should see my prompts. My prompts are these long.
But you're a writer, so I can just imagine. But
no, I just talk. I just like record.
Yeah, that I learned from you as well. So tell me something though. So when you so far, the first time you did it, did you see the output?
Yeah.
So did you get the outcomes that you wanted? That's interesting.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I did. Where the difference is now is I've also got to be on top of things, like making sure, like, okay, have you finished this, you know? And then my behavior and my leadership skills need improving. I need to work on that as well to make sure that I'm not micromanaging, but rather I'm leading. And I give them a task and I don't say, do X, Y, Z, but I tell them this is the outcome we want.
Okay.
And this is a suggested way of getting it done.
Yeah.
But you're free to do it how you want to, but this is the outcome that I want in the end.
Interesting. And I'm going to ask you now,
Yeah.
how do you assign them the task? What do you use?
So I just have a meeting,
Yeah.
and I might just like, you know, tell them like, you know, do that.
So you don't use it at all?
We should be using Trello, I know.
I can't help it.
On Monday, we used to use Monday, but
Yeah.
but I feel like they're not. I don't know. I'm not say that, but anyway. But yeah, ideally we should use a tool.
Yeah.
But now, so you know, I've got another business, not the Rivalry, but I've got my personal brand that I'm building, and I've got a team in Nigeria. And I feel for my team; they are absolutely amazing. But you know, I think my ideas. In fact, there was one time we had a meeting with Kaisha. So my business development manager and I and Kaisha had a meeting. Kaisha's, you know, was helping with a copy of my website, and she goes, "What is your priority right now?"
Oof.
And I say to Aderayo, I say, you know, you can talk. And she sighs. Well, 2 weeks ago, our priority was this. But even yesterday, Miss Talks just said that we need to start this. And then today she said,
Sorry, you need a tool.
I need a tool.
Yeah, you need a tool.
We
You
use
can't
Trello
check-
actually, but we're not using it like we should do.
Yeah, you have to, or else they're not going to be productive, are they? So either Trello or Monday or
yeah.
you can,
I loved
Jira,
using
any one
Monday,
of those.
but Trello I think I've gone back to because that was the very first one I used. Maybe you
Yeah.
need to train us on how to use it properly.
How to use
be
Trello.
productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could use Jira, but I think Jira you'll need to pay. I'm not sure if there's a free version. Jira is my favourite.
I've never used Jira. What does it look
Jira.
like even? Oh, Jira.
Yeah,
okay.
I can show it to you. I think that's probably my
Okay.
favourite, but that's because I use it all the time.
That's
But you definitely need to like create the task. And ChatGPT will be able to actually write out the task. All you have to do is copy and paste it.
That's a good point.
In fact, it'd be good if there's some sort of integration so it can just create it for you. But you can look into that.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think you need to use the tool.
I will. I'll start doing that.
Because then you can track it.
Yeah.
Do you have stand-ups? Oh, now we're getting into different topics. But
no, we don't. We have, but it's very sporadic and it's not every day. But we're better now, though. I have to say, it's only going to get better because right now we're literally creating our system, and God is so amazing. I'm writing my book, and the part I'm on right now is just really giving me so much energy because it took me back to when I first found out about a CRM. And that was when I did a secret undercover mission at Fortnum and Mason.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
I worked there using my maiden name and everything because I didn't want to be, I just needed to be doing secretly. And anyway, I can't talk about all the things I did there on camera, but it was interesting. So I'm at that part of the book, and we're working on our CRM because we have a really good one, but we were only using like 10% of it. I feel that some of it is also again me being controlling. Like I want everything to be at my fingertips, and I don't want to relinquish control. So, but yeah.
Definitely one of the tools is going to help because all you have to do is write up the task and you can even write the outcome you're expecting, and then you just know it's done, it's there, assign it to whoever, and then you can have your workflow so you know when they're working on it, when they're done. It's going to make your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
But you already know this because you used Monday.
We used Monday, yeah, when we were doing that's true.
100%.
Yeah.
Because are you like communicating via WhatsApp?
We are,
That's difficult to follow. So that means they have to keep going through all the messages.
And what makes it particularly, it's like today, I had the busiest day today that I've had in a long time. I was running like 3 different projects at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
And all was going through my mind is why? Why are you doing this? You have people who can do it. And my default response to overwhelm in that sense is usually I need to hire. And I'm like, you're not hiring, and that's how I overhired previously because every time rather than train the existing staff and make them more responsible, I would go and find someone who has a particular facet, like, oh, this person is good at that and we need that, bring her in. And then we just,
you can use Trello. In fact, we should have a good, how I love Trello.
Yes!
We should have a chat and we should help you set it up. Yeah.
I think so.
It will make everything a lot easier.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like, but I would love to, maybe from your research, what I need to know as well is what other AI tools can we use? Because right now we just use ChatGPT. And Canva, if you would call Canva. I mean, so I'm finding that some of the tools we already have are already having AI built into it as well. So that's a good thing.
Do you know what? There's a whole load, and I actually do have a screenshot of all the ones I was going to look into.
Okay.
Which I haven't, I tried using Midjourney, but I wasn't really that impressed with the images that it was producing. I thought, okay, that's not quite there yet. And even with Canva, when you put the prompt and you get the images, again, I'm like, okay, it's giving me an idea of what I want, but I have to go and create it myself. So I think it's coming, but it's still not there. There's one that's, actually, did you tell me about it? No, you didn't.
Which
Notebook.
LM.
Yeah, have you used that?
That is a winch.
I'm about to test that out.
Oh my goodness.
No, you didn't tell me.
I may have, either me or Pastor Davis, maybe.
Have you used it?
I have.
And
you can, I thought it would take, we can put this podcast into it and it converts it.
Oh
my solo episodes, it converts it to 2 people having a normal conversation.
Yeah.
I sent it to Reese, and Reese put his writing in, and he was calling me freaking out. He goes, "Mommy, I can't believe this."
I can't wait. Do you know how I?
Have you seen?
I've
You've
seen
heard?
the interface. I've got it open on my
Have you
laptop
listened?
right now.
Have you heard it?
I've got it open up on my laptop. I'm about to test it out, and I can't wait. And you know what? I watched an episode of Diary of a CEO.
Okay.
Eric, and I can't pronounce his surname, the former CEO of Google, because I think he created it, or his company created it.
Really? Okay.
And I thought, oh yeah, that's what everyone's been talking about, so I'm about to try it. That's my next one to try, but there's a whole load.
Yeah.
Because there's actually quite a few different tools. But you have to, my thing is, you have to use a tool that's helping you solve a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
I just feel, yeah. And then as a entrepreneur, you need to even know what the problem is.
Exactly.
For starters, and
exactly.
not just
Yeah.
one of the things that I've been doing, kind of moving away from tech and AI, is I've been learning to give language to my emotions. That has changed so much for me. And that came to mind when we just said that you've got to know the problem that you're to be able to find it. And it's the same thing with emotions. It's the same thing with just our daily lives. You've got a situation. You have to be able to name what the situation is and name the emotion behind it, or name the thought that's causing it. Before you can then address it.
Do you remember? So you asked me a question, and one of my answers, I remember saying that I've learned not to trust my emotions. Yeah, emotions is a very dangerous thing.
It is.
But I've learned not. So when you say name your emotion, which means if you're feeling overwhelmed,
yes,
that's the name.
No.
Oh, so what's
that's a fact. For me, that was even the genesis of it, because I was using overwhelmed a lot. Everyone like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. Like, okay, what does overwhelm mean? So now I have to split it down into tiny little bits. Okay, I feel afraid. I feel tired. I feel uncertain. I'm a bit irritated. So all of that is making me feel overwhelmed. But it's not enough to simply say you feel overwhelmed, because now I can go back and say, okay, what's irritating me? Then I can say, this is irritating me because X, Y, Z. And then I go deeper. Why is that irritating you? What is your thought process? Because at the end of the day, our emotions are not created based on what's happening outside of us. It's happening inside of us. And it's our interpretation of our circumstance that creates the emotion. So I'm worried about something. Why am I worried? And I find that I've just gone and extrapolated and created and catastrophized a situation and made it bigger than it actually is. So I'm able to reel myself back and get rid of that emotion. And then I go to the next one.
You know what? That's interesting, because there's a task. I'm not going to go into detail of the task. I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
Don't want to talk about it in the podcast.
We need to do it behind the scenes.
Yeah. But there's a task that I needed to do, and I've been trying to do it for the past 2 months.
Okay.
And I finally started.
Okay.
But I couldn't start. And I guess I'm saying to myself, what is wrong with you? Just get onto your laptop and do it. But I just couldn't. And then I realised the reason why. So procrastination stuff. But I realised the reason why is because I was feeling angry. So when you said put a name to it, that came to mind.
That's what you did.
I was feeling angry, and because I was feeling angry, it was preventing me from doing that.
Was the
task,
anger
which is really
related
weird.
to the task?
Yes.
Okay.
I was feeling very mad.
Yeah.
So what happened was, somehow I managed to turn the anger into something positive. Not the anger, not the anger itself, but I managed to give it a different name.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that changed your emotion.
And that changed, and then I was able to start.
Very
Very strange. I hate emotions.
Wow.
Very strange. So I literally sat down and I said, okay, what positive thing can come out of this to take over the anger? And I managed to figure it out.
Wow.
And the minute that happened, and it turned to, oh yeah, this is going to benefit me. I was able to do it.
This is why we can't trust our emotions.
Honestly.
Honestly, this is why we can't trust our emotions. One of the things I learned that's really helping me not to trust it is that nothing has meaning except the meaning we give it. So now, and honestly, it's a game changer. When I feel irritated, angry, or whatever it is, I don't just accept that I'm justified in feeling the way that I feel. I say, what meaning have I given this situation that's creating this emotion? Because it's people have everyone has a different perspective on life. You know, I can, you know, as an example that I was watching a program. I've been doing this NLP course, and the story goes,
NLP?
yeah, neuro linguistic programming.
Okay. Oh, what?
Have we talked about it?
No. What's that? Oh, thanks. What is that?
So I've been doing NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. Let me tell you the genesis of it all. I was listening to a podcast by Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Sarah J. Okay. Yeah.
T.D. Jakes' daughter.
Yeah.
And it was an interview. She released a book recently called Power Moves. Not power moves like boss moves, but power actually moves. And she actually said something about giving language to emotion, and I just hit pause. Because for a while I had felt the Holy Spirit telling me to stop saying I'm overwhelmed. You know, I was like, don't say you're overwhelmed. What are you feeling? What are you feeling? And the minute she said, I thought, that's what I need to do. I need to name my emotions. I don't even know if I ever went back to listen to the rest of the podcast. So I started thinking a lot about it, and I was tidying up my room, and I came across an old folder from 10 years ago. And in there was a course I had attended, an entrepreneur course, and on there was, I opened it up and there was NLP. And I remember learning that at the time. I was in that class, it was in King's Cross. I found it strange and a bit unsettling because I felt this is a little bit woo-woo, like, you know, I don't quite, you know, it didn't help that I had a friend at the time who was super spiritual and everything was demonic and all of that. So that was my old life. So I sat down, I started going through this, and I thought, this is what I need. But I didn't even make the connection between the word linguistic and language. And in that moment, when I did, I was like, God has been saying, give language to your emotion. Linguistic is language. So really what it is using language to change the way that you feel and the way that you think. It's like emotional intelligence on a different level.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're doing a course, did you say? Or okay, online?
Online, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so that was how I started doing that. And it's been, some of it I'll tell you offline, because it really has been mind-blowing for me.
But that does make sense.
Oh, really?
And I think what I've, based on this conversation and based on this situation that I told you about, I've now realised that a lot of things that I don't do that I should be doing is all based on that, like emotions that someone's giving language to that is not mine.
Yeah.
And I just need to take that and I need to change it. Because there are a lot of things that I feel like I should be doing that I'm not.
That you're not doing.
And I sit there and I, most of the time, don't analyse, okay, why are you not doing that?
Right.
You know, and it is, I'm too busy. No, it's never. I'm never too busy, actually.
Out. That's
exactly.
When we generalise anything at all, we're avoiding facing what the thing is. Yeah, no, it's really, so one of the things I learned from that was that, which is funny because again, I was going through an old note in my journal and I came across that we give meaning to our situations and I think I've done a podcast episode on it some time back, that it's not the circumstance that makes us sad, it's our thoughts about the circumstance that makes us sad or happy. Which is why two people can be in exactly the same situation and even you can be in the same situation two different times and you feel differently about it. So the power, the best part of that is that the power to navigate your life and experience your emotions is taken away from the thing or the situation, and it's firmly placed in your hands. So you can now decide, I'm going to give this meaning to this. And by doing that, now I realize how often I have drawn conclusions that were so wrong, so wrong. Can you imagine? I would draw conclusions that stop me from moving forward based on a meaning I have given a situation. That's not even true.
That's not true, yeah.
Do you even have days that you're demotivated? You're always on fire.
No. I do have days when I'm demotivated, where I'm thinking, because I have days where I think, why am I even here? What am I doing? What is the purpose of all of this? What is the benefit, you know? And then what happens? And then something always just happens. You know, sometimes it would be the boys will say something, or a friend will say something, and it would just spark a fire. And all of a sudden, I'm very motivated again.
Wow.
And I can't even give an example, but literally, that's what would happen.
What would happen.
Or I'd watch something or read something. I'm reading this book at the moment. I've already told you about it, Billionaire Habits.
Oh, you said.
By that Nigerian billionaire. Yeah, that's really interesting. So that's motivating me at the moment.
Wow.
And one of the boys, he always has these things that he would say, and I don't know how. One of them it's things he would say, and the other ones it's things he would do.
One of which boys?
The twins.
Oh, your twin. Oh, I was thinking about the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
So with the twins, one of them would say something, and that would spark something, and I would just be like, yeah, you know. And then the other one would do something, and I'm like, yeah, that's really motivating.
Wow.
I think that gets me back on track.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I think we all need that. We need some, and we need to recognize what it is as well, because there are times like, you know, that we're not we struggle. You know.
But yeah, I do wake up, and then also when I'm tired, I get demotivated.
Is it?
Because I've run out of energy.
Yeah.
I think now I'm learning I really do need to take breaks. Yeah.
And tiredness is a real thing. Like it's normal and human to be tired. It's not a time to beat ourselves up and say, why are we not doing enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you cultivate a healthy mindset as a business owner? Like how do you, I know we've talked a lot about mindset and emotions and everything, but how do you make sure you know, that you are focused, and or when things are not going well, how do you bring yourself back up? And
I always believe things are always going to work out in the end. It's really
bad. That's Titi.
Yeah.
And if you've been listening to Living Inside Out for any length of time, you've heard me say that over and over and over, that Titi is so unbothered. She's just monotone. She's certain everything's gonna work out well.
Not all the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah, but I do really always believe, it'll be alright in the end.
Wow.
I
need some of that energy.
But it's true though.
Yeah.
If you think about it, most things always do work out in the end.
Yeah.
It might be hard in the moment, you might get hurt, you might feel some pain, but in the end,
it does work out.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you. Let's say someone walks in now and or they're watching and they have been really thinking about starting their own business. You know, they want to run their own business, they're thinking about it. What is the starting point, and how would you guide them?
I'd ask them to give me a call.
Okay, so they call, ring ring.
Yeah, so I'll ask them to give me a call. We'll jump on it, contact me, give me a call. Jump on a meeting with them and literally get them to talk to me about the idea. Because sometimes it's good to talk, like talk through the idea, and then my question is, so why don't you start? And then we just explore how they can start. Yeah, as in, if it's a service that they want to provide, how can you actually get your first customer? Like, what do you need to do? And I know a lot of, I was on a call with somebody yesterday, and she was explaining that she spoke to her manager about her idea, and her manager said, you need to look at the data, right? And I thought, yeah, great, you do need to look at the data, but actually, before you go that far, you need to actually find one customer and provide the service, the minimum you can do to actually test that, because she might do it and not like it. It might be a great idea, but when it comes to providing the service, you don't enjoy it. You don't know yet, right? So we talked about how she can go about finding that first customer and providing the service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever come to you with an idea that you felt this is crap?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Because if they believe in it, because it's not for me to decide whether their idea is crap or not. It's their idea. And I always believe that if you have an idea today, it could turn into something else.
100%.
Because you might say, I want to do this, and then your customers are asking for something else. So I don't think any idea is crap.
I agree.
But I do believe you need to try it. I always give the example of the honey business. I love, that's my best example.
She used to have The coterie.
The coterie shop.
Coterie shop, yeah.
Where I wanted to sell honey, and honestly, that's the best experience of my life, to be honest. So just going to the market stall, having a stall there, having people taste the honey, seeing their facial expressions, seeing how much they're willing to pay, seeing how some people view honey, because some people see it as something very precious, some people wanted it for allergies. There's so much I learned from being in that market, honestly. So it's like you have to try it out. And then you taught me about margins, you know, because I remember we used to talk about margins, and I was thinking, oh, these margins are not good enough. But honestly, that was the best experience. I believe you need to try it. Like you need to provide the service one way or the other, so that you can really understand whether it's something you want to do or something you don't want to do, or you want to take it forward. And then you just figure it out.
That's really good.
So that's what I would say.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think that with ideas, I believe that every idea comes packaged with the ability to see it fully manifested. I see them as seeds, just like an orange seed contains the tree. Your idea contains the fullness of the business or whatever it is that you're going to be. So how can people find you?
So how do people find me? Oh, my website, 7littlesteps.com. And I have a page where you can just fill in your contact details and I'll get in touch.
Okay. So this was it wasn't impromptu because I've been dragging her, but after all, I put all my energy towards convincing her to come and none towards preparing questions or anything like that. So we have to come back and redo a more professional one where we both behave really well and
well, if we can. So I have to say, when you first said it, my first reaction was no. That's what I said to myself. I said, there's no way I'm going to find a way to excuse myself from doing this because it's just not me. But then I thought, no. You know, you've always wanted to do this. You have to just do it. So I thought, great. And then when I got here and everything was going on, I was like, oh, great. I can say, so let's reschedule.
No such luck.
But then again, I said, no, just do it.
And you're glad you did?
I'm glad I did it,
yeah. One of many.
One of many.
It's about time, you know. It's like Titi on the podcast. And so my next conquest is Olga.
She definitely needs to come.
She does need to come.
And then I've been fighting the urge to ask you loads of questions, by the way. So I'm sitting there thinking, no, Titi, I can't just...
No, but you should.
I will. Next time.
Next time.
100%.
Thank you so much, Titi. This has been absolutely amazing. If you haven't subscribed to Living Inside Out yet, please do. livinginsideoutpodcast.com or on my website, talksaratory.com, and I'm on social media at Talksaratory. 7 Little Steps is also on social media.
We are.
7 Little Steps. And Titi also has a tech business called Kids Cyberspace, which we didn't even talk about.
We didn't talk about that, but we can talk about it next time.
Next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, Titi. Well done.
We did it!
We did.